All right, guys. Well, you guys wanted me to read the whole book, which Genesis is 50 chapters, I think. I think it's 50 chapters. I could be wrong. Genesis is, 50 chapters. So we're going to try and blaze through it. It's not going to be short, as you can probably tell by looking at how long this video is, because that's 53 chapters. Wait, no, 53, 44. Huh. Just looked at the word 40 right here. You can see it. Yep. 49. Okay. Anyways, where we left off was Noah built the ark. And God is going to flood the earth. So let's just get to it, shall we? Genesis 7. The Lord said to Noah, "Go into the ark, you and your whole family, because I have found you righteous in this generation. Take with you 7 pairs of every kind of clean animal, a male and its mate, and 1 pair of every kind of unclean animal, a male and its mate, and also 7 pairs of every kind of bird, male and female, to keep the various kinds alive throughout the earth. 7 days from now I will send rain on the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and I will wipe from the face of the earth every living creature that I have made." So if we go back just a little bit, if you remember in my previous reading, I did say that all of the clean animals, well, I don't like how that just does that instead of, anyways, actually, maybe I can do that. If I just do that, it's a talking point. So it says, take with you, wait, I didn't want the whole. Okay, I only wanted part of it. Anyways, it says, take with you 7 pairs of every kind of clean animals. So I did mess up a little bit because last time I said that they took 7, just a total of 7. I guess I misremembered, which is fine. It says 7 pairs, which is 14 in total. And then I think that's the clean animals would be like the goats, I guess just anything, any like herbivores. So sheep, goats, cows, I guess horses. Although I don't really fully understand what makes it clean. I remember seeing this at the Ark, but I didn't fully read it. I kind of just looked at things, not read. Reading's not my favorite, but you know what? That's why I'm here. I'm here to be your reader, because some people don't like to read, and I'm just going to read it for you. That way you don't have to. Then again, you can find audiobooks, so you don't need my commentary, which I'm just wasting time. Anyways. So 7 days from now, I will send rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. So that's just 40 days of day and night. So it's not 40 days and then 40 nights, if that makes sense. Anyways, and I will wipe from the face of the earth every living creature that I've made. This was because they were all just evil and just restarting from scratch, pretty much. Not necessarily from scratch, I guess, because that's what the whole point of the ark is. And then it goes on to say, and Lord did all that the Lord commanded him. Noah was 600 years old when the floodwater came onto the earth. And Noah and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives entered the ark to escape the floodwater, or the waters of the flood. Pairs of clean and unclean animals, of birds and all the creatures that move along the ground, male and female, came to Noah and entered the ark as God commanded Noah. As God had commanded Noah. And after the 7 days of the floodwater, the floodwaters came on the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, on the 17th day of the 2nd month, on that day, all the springs of the great deep burst forth, and floodgates of the heaven were opened, and rain fell on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. So it's just 40 days and 40 nights straight of rain. On that very day, Noah and his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, together with his wife and his wives and the wives of his 3 sons, entered the ark. They had with them every wild animal, according to its kind, all livestock according to their kind, and every creature that moves along the ground according to its kind, and every bird according to its kind, everything with wings. Pairs of all creatures that have the breath of life in them came into Noah's ark Pairs of all creatures that have the breath of life in them came to Noah and entered the ark. The animals going in were male and female of every living thing, as God had commanded Noah. Then the Lord shut him in. So this is pretty cool. At the ark encounter, there's the big door, and that's where it kind of shows you that God closed the door, sealing them in for the 40 days, 40 nights, and then some. For 40 days, the flood kept coming on the earth. As the waters increased, they lifted the ark high above the earth, and the waters rose and increased greatly on the earth, and the ark floated on the surface of the water. They rose greatly on the earth, and all the high mountains under the entire heavens were covered. The waters rose and covered the mountains to a depth of more than 15 cubits. So it says about 23 feet or 6.8 meters. So it says that it covered the mountains, so you'd kind of have to think how the earth have changed since then. So was Mount Everest always the tallest mountain? If so, then it's 25 or 23 feet above that. If not, then it was whatever 23 feet was above the highest mountain. Every living thing that moved on land perished: birds, livestock, wild animals, all the creatures that swarm over the earth, and all mankind. Everything on dry land that had the breath of life in its nostrils died. Everything in the face of the earth was wiped out. People and animals and the creatures that move along the ground and the birds were wiped from the face of the earth. Only Noah was left, and those with him in the ark. The waters flooded the earth for 150 days. So that's how long it lasted. So they were on the water for 150 days. So probably what the point was for all of the all of the clean animals was to serve as a source of meat for all of the meat-eating animals and Noah and his family. So they would have reproduced and eaten them to serve as a source of protein. Genesis 8. But God remembered Noah and all the wild animals and the livestock that were with him in the ark, and he sent a wind over the earth, and the waters receded. Now the springs of the deep and the floodgates of the heavens had been closed, and the rain had stopped falling from the sky. The waters receded steadily from the earth. At the end of 150 days, the water had gone down. And on the 17th day of the 7th month, the ark came to a rest on the mountains of Ararat. Sure, it's like Rattata from Pokemon. Kind of hard to say. Sounds like a rat, so Ararat. Which kind of makes me wonder if there's any sort of map location we can find of Ararat, then we should be able to find where the ark is located. But then again, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's lost to history and lost to time, and we can't find it, so that's that. The waters continued to recede until the 10th month. On the first day of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains became visible. After 40 days, Noah opened a window he had made in the ark, and he sent out a raven and kept it flying back and forth until the water had dried up from the earth, and he sent out a dove to see if the water had receded from the surface of the ground. But the dove could find nowhere to perch, because there was water all over the surface of the earth. So it returned to Noah in the ark. He reached out his hand and took the dove and brought it back to himself in the ark. He had waited 7 more days and again sent out the dove from the ark. When the dove returned to him the evening, there in its beak was a freshly plucked olive leaf. Then Noah knew that the water had receded from the earth. He waited 7 more days and sent the dove out again, but this time it did not return to him. By the first day of the first month of Noah's 601st year, the water had dried up from the earth. Noah then removed the covering of the ark from the ark and saw that the surface of the ground was dry. By the 27th day of the second month on, the earth was completely dry. Oh, whatever. You get it. I misspoke, but that's fine. Then God said to Noah, "Come out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons and their wives. Bring out every kind of living creature that is with you, the birds, the animals, and all the creatures that move along the ground, so they can multiply on the earth and be fruitful, and increase in numbers on it." So Noah came out, together with his sons and his wives and his sons' wives. All the animals and all the creatures that move along the ground, and all the birds, everything that moves on land, came out of the ark, one kind after another. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and taking some of all the clean animals and clean birds, he sacrificed burnt offerings on it. The Lord smelled the pleasing aroma and said in his heart, "Never again will I curse the ground because of humans, even though every inclination of the human heart is evil from childhood. And never again will I destroy all living things, or all living creatures, as I have done. As long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will never cease." So this is the promise that he's made, and he's kept it so far. So we're not out of animals, we're not out of people, because I'm here, you're here. So what else can I talk about? Let's see. I don't know. I think it's all about this chapter. Not really much to talk about. Genesis 9. God's covenant with Noah. Oh, too far. Then God blessed Noah and his sons, saying to them, "Be fruitful and increase in number, and fill the earth. The fear and dread of you will fall on the beasts of the earth, and all the birds in the sky, on every creature that moves along the ground, and on all fish of the sea. They are given into your hands." So this is exactly what it sounds like. He's made every creature fear humankind. So, I mean, there are animals that kind of stand up to it. Bears, they're not really scared, although they can be, so still proof. Tigers will still be scared. Lions will still be scared of humans. They just won't back down because they're territorial and just all of that kind of nonsense. I say nonsense. That's not really what I meant. And it continues. "Everything that lives and moves about will be food for you. Just as I gave you the green plants, now I give you everything. But you must not eat the meat that has lifeblood still in it," which means don't eat a living animal, an animal that is still alive. "And for your lifeblood I will surely demand an accounting. I will demand an accounting from every animal, and from each human being too. I will demand an accounting for the life of another human being. Whoever sheds human blood, by humans shall their blood be shed. For in the image of God, God has made mankind." Which means kind of exactly what I think it was. If you were to kill someone, people will most likely kill you. That's what the whole death penalty is nowadays. Then again, that's not in a whole lot of things. But then you might say, what about the people fighting for a country or do it in self-defense? Well, later on, it gets cleared up. I think it's later on in Genesis. But I'm not too sure where exactly it is. I think it's closer in actually, it might be in Leviticus. Leviticus is like a book of rules and stuff. I don't really read it, but I guess I should so I can understand it. Anyways, it goes on to say, as for you, be fruitful and increase in number, multiply on the earth and increase upon it. Then God said to Noah and his sons with him, I now establish my covenant with you and with your descendants after you, and every living creature that was with you, the birds, the livestock, and all the wild animals, all those who came out of the ark with you, every living creature on earth. I establish my covenant with you. Never again will all life be destroyed by waters of a flood. Never again will there be flood to destroy the earth. And God said, this is the sign of the covenant I am making between me and you and every living creature with you, a covenant for all generations to come. I've set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be the sign of a covenant between me and the earth. Whenever I bring clouds over the earth and the rainbow appears in the cloud, I will remember my covenant between me and you and all living creatures of every kind. Never again will the waters become a flood to destroy all life. Whenever the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and all living creatures of every kind on the earth. So God said to Noah, this is the sign of the covenant I've established between me and all life on earth. So that's just saying a rainbow is a sign of peace from God. So that's what it is. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I could break it down anymore. So that's kind of exactly what it is. I don't know. And then the next little section, I guess, says the sons of Noah. So this might be a count of said thing. Anyways, the sons of Noah who came out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham was the father of Canaan. So I don't know how to pronounce names. These were the three sons of Noah, and from them came people who were scattered over the whole earth. Noah, a man of the soil, proceeded to plant a vineyard. Then he drank some of its wine. He became drunk and lay uncovered in his tent. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father naked and told his two brothers outside. But Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it across their shoulders, then walked in backwards and covered their father's naked body. Their faces were turned the other way so they would not see their father naked. When Noah awoke from his wine and found out what his youngest son had done to him, he said, Cursed be Canaan, the lowest of slaves will he be to his brothers. He also said, Praise be the Lord, the God of Shem. May Canaan be the slave of Shem. May God extend Japheth's territory. May Japheth live in the tents of Shem. And may Canaan be the slave of Japheth. After Noah lived 350 years, Noah lived a total of 950 years. Then he died. It's kind of interesting. Just a nice, solid, round number. 950. Anyways. So here's kind of what I'm thinking about the whole cursing, cursed be Canaan, Noah cursing his grandson. I think it was mostly out of embarrassment because his son walked in on him while he was naked. That's really about it. So he was embarrassed, and you know how people that are embarrassed kind of just play it off like it wasn't their fault type of thing. I think it was something like that. Then again, I don't know. Maybe this is what it was like back then. I will personally never know. But this is my headcanon, I guess is what people say. This is what I choose to believe what it is. So, he was saying, well, thanks Shem and Japheth for being so smart and coming backwards so they wouldn't see me naked type of deal. Genesis 10 says the table of nations. This is the account of Shem, Ham, and Japheth, Noah's sons, who themselves had sons after the flood. The Japhethites. That is a hard thing to say. The sons of Japheth. Okay, so like the descendants. So unto Japheth was born Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tiras. Born to Gomer was Ashkenaz, Rephath, and Togarma. Sure. Born to Jarvan was Elisha, Tarnish, and the Kittites and the Rodanites. From these, the maritime people spread out in their territories by their clans within their nations, each with its own language. Which I don't know why they couldn't just speak their own language or speak the same language. The Hamites, sons of Ham, were Cush, Egypt, Put, and Canaan. Sons of Cush was Seba, Havilah, Sabta, Ramah, and Sabteka. Sons of Ramah was Sheba and Dedan. Cush was the father of Nimrod, which is a funny name. What does it say? Ancestor. Okay, so Cush was the father of Nimrod, who became a mighty warrior on earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord, and that is why it is said, like Nimrod, a mighty hunter before the Lord. The first centers of his kingdom were Babylon, Uruk, Akkad, and Calneh in Shinar. From that land he went to Assyria, where he built Nineveh, Roboth-ur, Calah, and Resen, which is between Nineveh and Calah, which is the great city. Egypt was the father of the Ludites, Anamites, Lehabites, Nephatites, Pharisaites, Caslites, whom the Philistines came from, and the Caphtorites. Canaan was the father of Sidon, his firstborn, and the Hittites, Jebusites, Amorites, Girgashites, Hivites, Arkshites, Sinites, Oravadites, Zemarites, and Hamathites. Don't ask me how I know to pronounce all of these. I just do. I think I've just heard them a lot. After the Canaanite clan scattered and the borders of Canaan reached from Sidon toward Gerar as far as Gaza, and toward Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, and Zeboim as far as Lasha. I don't know. You're gonna have to bear with me because I don't know English. Actually, it's not even English. Anyways, 20. These are the sons of Ham by their clans and languages in their territories and nations. The Semites. Sons were also born to Shem, whose older brother was Japheth. Shem was the ancestor of all the sons of Eber. Sons of Shem were Elam, Asher, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. Sons of Aram were Uz, Hul, Gether, and Meshech. I don't know what that is. Arphaxad, sure, was the father of Shelah, and Shelah was the father of Eber. 2 sons were born to Eber. One was named Peleg because of his time. In his time, earth was divided. His brother was named Joktan. Joktan was the father of Almadad, Sheleph, Hazar Maveth, Jerah, Hadoram, Uzal, Dikla, Obal, Abimael, Sheba, Ophir, Havilah, and Joab. All these were the sons of Joktan. The regions where they lived stretched from Mesha towards Sephar and are in the eastern hill country. These are the sons of Shem by their clans and languages in their territories and nations. These are the clans of Noah's sons according to their lines of descent within their nations. From these, the nations spread out over the earth after the flood. Just a lot of names. A lot of them I've never heard of. I know Egypt. That's the place. Egypt was the father of the Luddites, Hamites, Levites, Nephratites, and all of that stuff. And then Canaan. So I think all of these are bad guys eventually. I think the Girgashites were wiped out. Hivites, I think, eventually get wiped out. Jebusites and Amorites, I think, are also wiped out. Sinites, I think those are gone too. Nope, sorry for spoiling the book. Genesis 11, the Tower of Babel. So in case you don't know the story, let's get into it. Now the whole world had one language and a common speech. As people moved eastward, they found a plain in Shinar and settled there. They said to each other, "Come, let's make bricks and bake them thoroughly." They used brick instead of stone and tar for mortar. They said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that we may make a name for ourselves. Otherwise we will be scattered over the face of the whole earth." But the Lord came down to the city and the tower the people were building. The Lord said, "If as one people, speaking the same language, they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. Come, let us go down and confuse their language so they will not understand each other." So the Lord scattered them from there over all the earth and stopped building the city. That is why it was called Babel, because the Lord confused their language of the whole world. From there, the Lord scattered them over the face of the whole earth. I think it was just like, hey, don't build to the heavens and stuff. I don't know. I'm not a prophet? No. I don't know. I don't study all of this, so I don't exactly know. Each version of the Bible says something different, so if you piece together each part, like, because things get lost in translations and changed in translations, and that's just not cool. If only I could read the actual Hebrew, I would translate it myself, but I can't. So, for now, it's kind of a mystery of why this had happened. Then again, maybe he was saving them, because if they built it too high, they would have died. So, from Shem to Abram. This is an account of Shem's family line. This is the account of Shem's family line. 2 years after the flood, when Shem was 100 years old, he became the father of that guy, Arphaxad. And after he became the father of Arphaxad, Shem lived 500 years and had other sons and daughters. When Arph had lived 35 years, he became the father of Shelah. And after he had become the father of Shelah, Arph lived 403 years and had other sons and daughters. When Shelah had lived 30 years, he became the father of Eber. And after he became the father of Eber, Shelah lived 403 years and had other sons and daughters. When Eber had lived 34 years, he became the father of Peleg. And after he became the father of Peleg, Eber lived 430 years and had other sons and daughters. When Peleg lived 30 years, he became the father of Reu. And after he became the father of Reu, Peleg lived 209 years and had other sons and daughters. When Reu had lived 32 years, he became the father of Serug. And after he became the father of Serug, Reu lived 207 years and had other sons and daughters. When Serug had lived 30 years, he became the father of Nahor. And when he became the father of Nahor, Serug lived 200 years and had other sons and daughters. When Nahor had lived 29 years, he became the father of Terah, and after he became the father of Terah, Nahor lived 119 years and had other sons and daughters. After Terah had lived 70 years, he became the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Abram's family. This is the account of Terah's family line, which we actually just finished off of when we did Shem's family, from Shem to Abram. So we're on to his mother? His father? Abram's father? I don't know. Terah became the father. Okay, yeah, so father. Terah became the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And Haran became the father of Lot, which, great story about Lot. We're getting to there. I think it's next one. While his father Terah was still alive, Haran died in Ur of the Chaldeans, in the land of his birth. Abram and Nahor both were married. The time of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah. She was the daughter of Haran. Okay. Isn't that his niece? Oh, sorry. The father of both Milcah and... Oh, sorry. She was the daughter of Haran, the father of both Milcah and Iscah. Now, Sarai was childless because she was not able to conceive. Terah took his son Abram, his grandson Lot, son of Haran, and his daughter in the land of Sarai, the wife of his son Abram, and together they set out from Ur to the Chaldeans to go to Canaan. But where they came into Haran, they settled there. Terah lived 205 years, and then he died in Haran. Okay, so the next one's about Lot. This one's about Abram. The call of Abram. The Lord said to Abram, "Go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you, and I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you I will curse, and all the people on earth will be blessed through you." So Abram went as the Lord had told him, and Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he set out from Haran. He took his wife Sarai and nephew Lot, all the possessions they had accumulated, and the people they had acquired in Haran, and they set out for the land in Canaan, and they arrived there. Abram traveled through the land as far as the site of the great tree of Moreh and at Shechem. At the time the Canaanites were in the land, the Lord appeared to the Abram and said, "To your offspring I will give this land." So he built an altar there to the Lord who had appeared to him. From there he went on towards the hills east of Bethel and pitched his tent, with Bethel on the west and artificial intelligence on the east. There he built an altar unto the Lord and called on the name of the Lord. Then Abram sent out and continued toward the Negev. Abraham in Egypt. Now there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down to Egypt to live there for a while because the famine was severe. As he was about to enter Egypt, he said to his wife Sarai, "I know what a beautiful woman you are. When the Egyptians see you, they will say, 'This is his wife,' then they will come kill me, but let you live. Say you are my sister, so that I will be treated well for your sake, and my life will be spared because of you." When Abram came to Egypt, the Egyptians saw Sarai was a very beautiful woman. And when Pharaoh's officials saw her, they praised her to Pharaoh, and she was taken into his palace. He treated Abram well for her sake. And Abram acquired sheep, cattle, male and female donkeys, male and female servants, and camels. But the Lord inflicted serious disease on the Pharaoh and his household because Abram's wife Sarai. So Pharaoh summoned Abram. "What have you done to me?" he said. "Why didn't you tell me she was your wife? Why did you say, 'She's my sister,' so that I took her to be my wife? Now then, here's your wife. Take her and go." The Pharaoh gave out orders to about Abram to his men. They sent him on his way with his wife and everything he had. So I don't know if it's in this part, or like a different translation in this section, or maybe it's the next one. But Abram did say that Sarai was his... Not... I don't even remember. You know what? I'm sorry. I wasted your time. Anyways. Abram and Lot separate. So Abram went up to Egypt from the Negev with his wife and everything he had, and Lot went with him. Abram had become very wealthy in livestock and silver and gold. From the Negev he went to the palace. Nope, that's not how you spell palace. From the Negev he went from place to place until he came to Bethel, to the place between Bethel and artificial intelligence, where his tent had been earlier, and where he had first built an altar. There Abram called upon the name of the Lord. Now Lot, who was moving about with Abram, also had flocks and herds in his tent. But the land could not support them while they stayed together, for their possessions were too great and they were not able to stay together. And quarreling arose between Abram's herders and Lot's. The Canaanites and Perizzites were also living in the land at the time. So Abram said to Lot, "Let's not have any quarreling between you and me, or between your herders and mine, for we are close relatives. Is not the whole land before you? Let's part company. If you go to the left, I'll go to the right, and if you go to the right, I'll go to the left." Lot looked around and saw the whole plain of the Jordan towards Zoar was well watered, like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt. This was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. So Lot chose for himself the whole plain of the Jordan and set out eastward. The two men parted companies. Abram lived in the land of Canaan, while Lot lived among the cities of the plains and pitched his tents near Sodom. So in case you don't know Sodom and Gomorrah, it was just a place corrupted by sin, like heavily, like the people before the like the people before the flood, kind of the same thing. Anyways, now the people of Sodom were wicked and were sinning greatly against the Lord. Well, I guess right there it tells you. The Lord said to Abram after Lot had parted from him, "Look around and see where you are, to the north and south, to the east and west. All the land that you see I will give to you and your offspring forever. I will make your offspring like dust of the earth, so that if anyone could count the dust, then your offspring could be counted. Go walk through the length and breadth of the land, for I am giving it to you." So Abram went to live near the great trees of Mamre at Hebron, where he pitched his tents. There he built an altar to the Lord. So this is the actual story that I was talking about. I thought it was... Never mind. This is where he destroys Sodom and Gomorrah. Abram rescues Lot. At the time when Amraphel was the king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elasar, Kedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of Giom. These kings went to war against Bera, king of Sodom, Birsha, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, king of Admah, Shmebeber, Shemeber, king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, that is Zor. All these latter kings joined forces in the valley of Sadim, that is the Dead Sea Valley. For 12 years they had been subject to Kedor Laomer, and the 13th year they rebelled. In the 14th year, Kedor Laomer and the kings allied with him went out and defeated the Raphites in Ashtaroth, Carnium, and Zuzites in Ham, the Emites in Shavith, Kiratham, and Horites in the hill country of Seir. As far as El Paran, near the desert, they turned back and went to En Mashpit, that is Kadesh, and acquired the whole territory of the Amalekites, and as well as the Amorites who were living in the Hazon Tamar. When the king of Sodom and the king of Gomorrah, the king of Admah, the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, that is Zor, marched out and drew up their battle lines in the valley of Siddim against Kedor Laomer. I'm just gonna call him Kedo. Kedo, king of Elam, Tidal, king of Giom, Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Arioch, king of Elasar. 4 kings against 5. Now the valley of Siddim were full of tar pits, and when the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled, some of the men fell into them, and the rest fled into the hills. The 4 kings seized all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah, and all their food, and then went away. They also carried off Abram's nephew Lot and his possessions, since he was living in Sodom. A man who escaped came and reported to Abram the Hebrew. Now Abram was living near great trees of Mamre, and the Amorites, or Mamre the Amorite, a brother of Eshcol and Aner, all of whom were allied with Abram. When Abram heard that his relative had been taken captive, he called out 318 trained men born in his household, and went in pursuit as far as Dan. During the night, Abram divided his men to attack them, and he routed them, pursuing them as far as Hobah, north of Damascus. He recovered all the goods and brought back his relative Lot and his possessions, together with women and other people. Okay, this still isn't the story. After Abram returned from defeating Kedo and the kings allied with him, the king of Sodom came out to meet him in the valley of Sheva. That is the king's valley. Oh, what is this guy's name? Then Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. He was a priest of God Most High, and he blessed Abram, saying, "Blessed be Abram by God Most High, creator of the heavens and earth, and praise be to God Most High, who delivered your enemies into your hand." Then Abram gave him 1/10 of everything. The king of Sodom said to Abram, "Give me the people and keep the goods for yourself." But Abram said to the king of Sodom, "With raised hands I have sworn an oath to the Lord, God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, that I will accept nothing belongs to you, not even a thread or a strap of a sandal, so that you will never be able to say, 'I made Abram rich.' I will accept nothing but what my men have eaten, and the share that belongs to the men who went with me, to Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre. Let them have their share." Yeah, I think this is when God defeats... No, I don't freaking know when that is. Okay, I'm going to read 2 more. So we're going to go to 16, and then we'll go to 20. The Lord's covenant with Abram. After this, the word of the Lord came to Abram in a vision. Sorry. Do not be afraid, Abram, for I am your shield, your very great reward. But Abram said, Sovereign Lord, what can you give to me, since I remain childless, and the one who will inherit my estate is Eliezer of Damascus? And Abram said, You have given me no children, so a servant in my household will be my heir. The word of the Lord came to him, This man will not be your heir, but a son who is your own flesh and blood will be your heir. He took him outside and said, Look up at the sky, count the stars, if indeed you can count them. Then he said to him, So shall your offspring be. So it just means that he's going to have as many as the stars. I don't know, that's about it, really. I mean, he goes on to say, like, as many of the grains of sand on the beach. He says that eventually, but Abram believed the Lord, and he credited it to him as righteousness. He also said to him, I am the Lord who brought you out of Ur of the Chaldeans to give you this land and take possession of it. But Abram said, Sovereign Lord, how can I know that I will gain possession of it? So the Lord said to him, Bring me a heifer, a goat, and a ram, each 3 years old, along with a dove and a young pigeon. Abram brought all of these, cut them in two, and arranged them in halves opposite of each other. The birds, however, he did not cut in half. The birds of prey came down on the carcasses, but Abram drove them away. As the sun was setting, Abram fell into deep sleep, and a thick, dreadful darkness came over him. Then the Lord said to him, Know for certain that for 400 years your descendants will be strangers in a country not their own, and they will have been enslaved and mistreated there. So this is a prophecy. In case you don't know what a prophecy is, it's kind of like fortune telling, except for it actually works. So it's something that was said in the past, and in the future it will come to be. So, like, you can have a myth, like, I'm going to be very famous, or you can have a prophecy, which is, this video will definitely be over an hour long, and it's a prophecy. And you who are watching this or also listening, there's your prophecy. Actually, it's not prophecy. Never mind. I'm not good at this whole analogy thing. But 14 goes on to say, But I will punish the nation they serve as slaves, and afterwards they will come out with great possessions. You, however, will go to your ancestors in peace and be buried at a good old age. In the fourth generation of your descendants will come back here, for the sin of the Amorites has not yet reached its full measure. When the sun had set and the darkness had fallen, a smoking firepot with a blazing torch appeared and passed between the pieces. On the day the Lord made covenant with Abram and said, To your descendants I will give this land, from Wadi of Egypt to the great rivers of the Euphrates, or to the great river, the Euphrates, which is the Euphrates River. The land of Kenites, Kenizzites, Canaanites, Hittites, Perizzites, Rephites, Amorites, Canaanites, Girgashites, and Jebusites. Hagar and Ishmael. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, had borne to him no children, but she had an Egyptian slave named Hagar. So she said to Abram, The Lord has kept me from having The Lord has kept me from having children. Go, sleep with my slave. Perhaps I can build a family through her. Abram agreed to what Sarah said. So after Abram had been living in Canaan 10 years, Sarai, his wife, took her Egyptian slave Hagar and gave her to her husband to be his wife. He slept with Hagar, and she conceived. When she knew that she was pregnant, she began to despise her mistress. Then Sarai said to Abram, "You are responsible for the wrong that I am suffering. I put my slave in your arms, and now that she knows she is pregnant, she despises me. May the Lord judge between you and me." "Your slave is in your hands," Abram said. "Do with her what you think is best." Then Sarai mistreated Hagar, so she fled from her. The angel of the Lord found Hagar near a spring in the desert. It was the spring that is beside a road to Shur. And he said, "Hagar, slave of Sarai, where have you come from? What are you and where are you going?" "I'm running away from my mistress Sarai," she answered. Then the angel of the Lord told her, "Go back to your mistress and submit to her." The angel added, "I will increase your descendants so much that they will be too numerous to count." And the angel of the Lord also said to her, "You are now pregnant, and you will give birth to a son. You shall name him Ishmael, for the Lord has heard of your misery. He will be a wild donkey of a man. His hands will be against everyone, and everyone's hands against him, and he will live in hostility toward all his brothers." She gave this name to the Lord who spoke to her. "You are the God who sees me." For she said, "I have now seen the one who sees me." And that's why the well was called Bir Lahai Roy, which means well of the living one who sees me. It is still there between Kadesh and Bered. So I guess if you want to figure out where it is in between Kadesh and Bered, you can go visit it. So Hagar bore Abram a son, and Abram gave the name Ishmael to the son she had born. Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bore him Ishmael. So you have to keep in mind, at this time, people are kind of getting like 120 is like the oldest that they will get. But in the beginning, it was like 900, or I think 900 was the most, but it was like 700 was the average. Now, the covenant of circumcision. When Abram was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to him and said, "I am God Almighty. Walk before me faithfully and be blameless. Then I will make my covenant between me and you, and will greatly increase your numbers." Abraham fell face down and said to him, "As for me, this is my covenant with you. You will be the father of many nations. No longer will you be called Abram. Your name will be Abraham. For I have made you a father of many nations. I will make you very fruitful. I will make nations of you, and kings will come from you. I will establish my covenant as an everlasting covenant between me and you and your descendants after you for the generations to come. To be your God and the God of your descendants after you." Sorry, I don't know why I stopped there. "When the whole land of Canaan, where you now reside as a foreigner, I will give as an everlasting possession to you and your descendants after you, and I will be their God." Then God said to Abraham, "As for you, you must keep my covenant, you and your descendants after you for the generations to come. This is my covenant with you and your descendants after you. The covenant you are to keep. Every male among you shall be circumcised. You are to undergo circumcision, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and you. For the generations to come, every male among you who is 8 days old must be circumcised, including those born in your household or bought with money from a foreigner." So that just means slaves too. "Those who are not your offspring, whether born in your household or bought with your money, they must be circumcised. My covenant in your flesh is to be everlasting covenant. Any uncircumcised male who has not been circumcised in the flesh will be cut off from his people. He has broken my covenant." God also said to Abram, "As for Sarah, your wife, you are no longer to call her Sarai. Her name will be Sarah. As I will bless her and surely give you a son by her. I will bless her so that she will be the mother of nations. Kings of people will come from her. Abraham fell face down. He laughed and said to himself, "Will a son be born to a man 100 years old? Will Sarah bear a child at the age of 90?" And Abraham said to God, "If only Ishmael might live under your blessing." Then God said, "Yes, but your wife Sarah will bear you a son, and you will call him Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him as an everlasting covenant for him, or for his descendants after him. And as for Ishmael, I have heard you. I will surely bless him. I will make him fruitful, and will greatly increase his numbers. He will be the father of 12 rulers, and I will make him into a great nation. But my covenant I will establish with Isaac, whom Sarah will bear to you by this time next year." When he had finished speaking with Abram, God went up from him. On that very day, Abram took his son Ishmael, and all those born in his household were bought with his money, and every male in his household, and circumcised them as God said, or as God told them. Abraham was 99 years old when he was circumcised, and his son Ishmael was 13. Abraham and his son Ishmael were both circumcised that very day. And every male in Abram's household, including those born in his household or bought as a foreigner, was circumcised with him. The three visitors. This is Genesis chapter 18. The Lord appeared to Abraham near the great trees of Mamre. While he was sitting in the entrance to his tent in the heat of the day, Abraham looked up, saw 3 men standing nearby. When he saw them, he hurried from the entrance of his tent to meet them and bowed low to the ground. He said, "If I have found favor in your eyes, my Lord, do not pass your servant by. Let a little water be brought, and then you may wash all your feet and rest under this tree. Let me get you something to eat, so you can be refreshed and go on your way, now that you have come to your servant." "Very well," they answered. "Do as you say." So Abraham hurried into the tent to Sarah. "Quick," he said, "get 3 seahs of the finest flour and knead it and bake it into some bread." Then he ran. All right, well, let's see. 3 seahs is 36 pounds, so each one would be 12 pounds. That is a lot of flour. It's like, I don't know. Well, if it's like 4 pounds. No, it's not even 4 pounds. It's 4 cups. How freaking much of bread is that? It's a lot of bread. Anyways. He ran into the herd and selected a choice tender calf, and he gave it to his servant, who hurried to prepare it. He then brought some curds and milk and the calf he had prepared, that had been prepared, and set these before them. While they ate, he stood near them under a tree. Where's your wife Sarah?" they asked him. "There, in the tent," he said. Then one of them said, "I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah, your wife, will have a son." Now Sarah was listening at the entrance to the tent, which was behind him. Abraham and Sarah were already very old, and Sarah was past the age of childbearing. So Sarah laughed to herself as she thought, After I'm worn out and my Lord is old, will I now have this pleasure?" Then the Lord said to Abraham, "Why did Sarah laugh and say, 'Will I really have a child now that I'm old?' Is anything too hard for the Lord? I will return to you at the appointed time next year, and Sarah will have a son." Sarah was afraid, so she lied and said, "I did not laugh." But he said, "Yes, you did laugh." Abraham pleads for Sodom. Okay, this is where I thought we were a long time ago. When the men got up to leave, they looked down towards Sodom, and Abraham walked along with them to see them on their way. Then the Lord said, "Shall I hide from Abraham what I'm about to do? Abraham will surely become a great and powerful nation, and all nations on earth will be blessed through him. For I have chosen him, so that he will direct his children and his household after him to keep the way of the Lord by doing what is right and just. So the Lord will bring about for Abraham what he had promised him. Then the Lord said, "The outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is so great, that their sin is so grievous, that I will go down there and see what it is that they have done. Or that I will go down and see if what they have done is bad as the outcry that has reached me. For if not, I will know." So basically he's saying he heard prayers from people in Sodom and Gomorrah about how bad it is, and that they need help getting through whatever it was that they were getting through. So the men turned away and went towards Sodom, but Abraham remained standing before the Lord. Then Abraham approached him and said, "Will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked? What if there are 50 righteous people in the city? Will you really sweep it away and not spare the place for the sake of the 50 righteous people in it? Far be it from you to do such a thing, to kill righteous with the wicked, treating the righteous and wicked alike. Far be it from you. Will you not judge all the earth, or will not the judge of all the earth do right?" The Lord said, "If I find 50 righteous people in the city of Sodom, I will spare the whole place for their sake." Then Abraham spoke up against, "Now that I have been so bold to speak to the Lord, though I am nothing but dust and ashes, what if the number of the righteous is less than 50? Would you destroy the whole city for a lack of 5 people? If I find 45 there," the Lord said, "I will not destroy it." Once again he spoke to him, "What if only 40 people are found there?" He said, "For the sake of 40, I will not do it." Then he said, "May the Lord not be angry, but let me speak. What if only 30 people can be found there?" He answered, He answered, "I will not do it if I find 30 there." Abraham said, "Now that I've been so bold to speak with the Lord, what if only 20 can be found there?" He said, "For the sake of 20, I will not destroy it." Then he said, "May the Lord not be angry, but let me speak just once more. What if only 10 can be found there?" Then he answered, "For the sake of 10, I will not destroy it." When the Lord finished speaking with Abraham, he left, and Abraham returned home. This is Genesis 19, Sodom and destroyed, which is pretty cool. I got to talk to you guys about that. It's kind of the most important part about the story, if I do say so myself. I wouldn't say it's important, but pretty interesting. The 2 angels arrived at Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting in the gateway of the city. When he saw them, he got up to meet them and bowed down with his face to the ground. "My lords," he said, "please turn aside to your servant's house. You can wash your feet and spend the night, and then go your way early in the morning." "No," they answered, "we will spend the night in the square." But he insisted so strongly that they did go with him and entered his house. He prepared a meal for them, baking bread without yeast, and they ate. Before they had gone to bed, all the men from every part of the city of Sodom, both young and old, surrounded the house. They called to Lot, "Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us so that we may have sex with them." Lot went outside to meet them and shut the door behind him and said, "No, my friends, do not do this wicked thing. Look, I have two daughters who have never slept with men. Let me bring them to you, and you can do what you like to them. But do not do anything to these men, for they have come under the protection of under my roof." "Get out of the way," they replied. "This fellow came here as a foreigner, and now he wants to play the judge. We'll treat him worse than them. Or we'll treat you worse than them." They kept bringing pressure on Lot and moved forward to break down the door. But the men inside reached out, pulled Lot back in the house, and shut the door. Then they struck the men who were at the door of the house, young and old, with blindness, so they could not find the front door. The 2 men said to Lot, "Do you have anyone else here sons-in-laws or daughters or anyone else in the city who belongs to you, get them out of here, because we are going to destroy this place. The outcry of the Lord the outcry to the Lord against its people is so great that he has sent us to destroy it. So Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-laws who were pledged to marry his daughters. He said, "Hurry and get out of this place, because the Lord is about to destroy the city." But his sons-in-laws thought he was joking. When the coming of dawn, the angels urged Lot, saying, "Hurry, take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here, or you will be swept away when the city is punished." When he hesitated, the men grasped his hand and hands of his wife and his 2 daughters, and led them safely out of the city, for the Lord was merciful to them. As soon as they had brought them out, one of them said, "Flee for your lives, do not look back, and do not stop anywhere in the plain. Flee to the mountains, or you will be swept away." But Lot said to them, "No, my lords, please. Your servant has found favor in your eyes, and you have shown great kindness to me in sparing my life. But I cannot flee to the mountains. This disaster will overtake me, and I will die. Look, here is a town near enough to run to, and it is small. Let me flee to it. It is very small, isn't it? Then my life will be spared." He said to him, "Very well, I will grant this request too. I will not overthrow the town you speak of, but flee there quickly, because I cannot do anything until you reach it." That is why the town is called Zoar. Zoar means small. So all the time when it had me say Zoar, or like the king of Zoar or something like that, that's kind of what I was saying. Anyways, by the time Lot reached Zoar, the sun had risen over the land. Then the Lord rained down burning sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the heavens. Thus he overthrew those cities and the entire plain, destroying all those living in the cities and all the vegetation in the land. But Lot's wife looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. Early next morning, Abraham got up and returned to the place where he had stood before the Lord. He looked down towards Sodom and Gomorrah He looked down towards Sodom and Gomorrah, towards all the land in the plain, and he saw a dense rising smoke from the land, like smoke from a furnace. So when God destroyed the cities in the plain, he remembered Abraham, and he had brought Lot out of the catastrophe that overthrew the cities where Lot had lived. Lot and his daughters. Lot and his 2 daughters left Zoar and settled in the mountains, for he was afraid to stay in Zoar. He and his 2 daughters lived in a cave. One day the older daughter said to the younger daughter, "Our father is old, and there is no man around here to give us children. As it is custom all over the earth, let's get our father to drink wine, sleep with him, and preserve our family line through our father." That night they got her father to drink wine, and the oldest daughter went in to sleep with him. He was not aware of it when she lay down or when she got up. The next day the older daughter said to the younger daughter, "Last night I slept with my father. Let's get him to drink wine again tonight, and you go in and sleep with him, and we can preserve our family line through our father." So they got their father to drink wine that night also, and the younger daughter went in and slept with him. And again, he was not aware of it when she lay down or when she got up. So both of Lot's daughters became pregnant by their father, and their older daughter had a son and named him Moab, which is kind of funny because all I can think of is Balloons Monkey Tower Defense, which is like mother of all balloons. Moab sounds like the Hebrew from father, which kind of makes me wonder what it sounds like. Anyways, he's the father of the Moabites of today. The younger daughter also had a son, and she named him Ben-Ami. He's the father of the Ammonites of today. So this is going to be the last chapter that we're going to read, as it is, at time of recording, 1 hour and 9 minutes of just me reading straight. Kind of like how I walked today, of just an hour straight. Actually, it was 2 hours, but oh well. Same difference. Anyways, Genesis 20. Abraham and Abimelech. I'm going to call him Abby. Because, no, Abimelech isn't too hard to say. Anyways, now Abram moved on from there into the region of the Negev and lived between Kadesh and Shur. For a while he stayed in Gerar, and there Abraham said of his wife Sarah, "She is my sister." Then Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent for Sarah and took her. But God came to Abimelech in a dream one night and said to him, "You are as good as dead because of the woman you have taken. She is a married woman." Now Abimelech had not gone near her, so she said, "Lord, will you destroy an innocent nation? She is not. Did he not say to me, 'She is my sister'? And didn't she also say, 'He is my brother'? I have done this with a clear conscience and clear hands." Then God said to him in the dream, "Yes, I know you did this with a clear conscience, so I kept you from sinning against me. That is why I did not let you touch her. Now, return this man's wife, for he is a prophet, and he will pray for you and will let you live. But if you do not return her, you may be sure that you and all who belong to you will die." Early in the morning, Abimelech summoned all of his officials, and when he told them all that had happened, they were very much afraid. They were very much afraid. Then Abimelech called Abraham in and said, "What have you done to us? How have I wronged you that you have brought such great guilt upon me and my kingdom? You have done things to me that should never have done, that should never have been done. Or what? Done to me should never be done. Whatever." And Abimelech asked Abraham, "What is your reason for doing this?" Abraham replied, "I said to myself, there is surely no fear in God of this place, and they will kill me because of my wife. Besides, she really is my sister, the daughter of my father, though not of my mother. And she became my wife, and then God had me wander from my father's household, and I said to her, 'This is how you can show your love to me. Everywhere we go, say of me, he is my brother.' Then Abimelech brought sheep and cattle and male and female slaves and gave them to Abraham, and he returned Sarah, his wife, to him. And Abimelech said, 'My land is before you. Live wherever you like.' To Sarah he said, 'I'm giving your brother 1,000 shekels of silver.' That is about 25 pounds. So I don't know how that'd be. Like, it would be, what is that? 20,000 is like a 25th of a pound, I guess. Which I didn't know it was a weight. I thought it was like an actual coin. Anyways, this is to cover the offense against you before all who are with you. You are completely vindicated." Then Abraham prayed to God, and God healed Abimelech, his wife, and his female slaves, so that they could have children again. For the Lord had kept all the women in Abimelech's household from conceiving because of Abraham's wife, Sarah. Anyways, I'm not going to have a voice tomorrow, so I'm probably not going to be able to record. But next reading, I will try and get through 10 instead of 14. Also, the reason why I was choking earlier was because talking nonstop without a drink. I tried to hurriedly take a drink, and then I just ended up choking pretty much to death. But yeah. Anyways, my stream deck's not working, so I'm gonna have to end this video manually. Let's go with this song. Again, commissioned from Brew Canoe. If you have any song commissions, they're fairly priced. I believe it's like $100 a song now. It used to be $50, but you know, if you want a good song, it's gonna cost. So, yeah, go check them out. I may or may not have it in the description. If not, I have a community post a while back that shared the two songs. And yeah, as always, God bless you all. Well, thank you for watching. God bless you all. Peace outro.